Good morning, everyone. Welcome. My name is Menachem Creditor. It's my honor to serve as scholar in residence and rabbi for UJA Federation of New York. We bring you Torah and music, blessing, and community every weekday. We've been doing so since March 18th, 2020. Today it is Wednesday, February 11th, 2026. It is broadcast 1489. What an extraordinary number to share times together that we have had, learning Torah, finding each other, just saying good morning. Sean and Jonathan, Lydia, so good to see all of you. Jerry, Boker Tov, good morning to you. Cheryl, nice to see you too. Let's see who else is here. Bria and Arlene, Valerie, Deborah and Arlene, Cecile, good morning. Good to see all of you. Hi, Michelle. Hope that you're well. Linda and Adrian, good to see you too. Hi, Susie. All right, friends. In a second, we're going to sing a bracha, learn some Torah. Julianne and Andrew, Sunday, good to see you too. Let's say hi to one or two more friends, and then we will get started with our learning for the day. Barbara, Boker Tov, missed you live yesterday too, but you're here now. Thank God. Good to see you too. Okay. Let's take a breath, sing a bracha. Rita and Jack, good to see you. Hey, Amy. Hi, Barry. Hi, Mirav. Nice to see you. Hi, Neil. Ya la 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 la, ya la la la, ya la la la, ay ya la la la. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu la'asok b'divrei Torah la'asok b'divrei Torah Hafoch ba ve'hafoch ba la'asok b'divrei Torah Today la 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 Today la 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 Good to see all of you, friends. Hope that you and yours are safe and well. Thank you, Penny. It's broadcast 1489. On March 18th, we'll celebrate our 6th year anniversary together as a community, which is an extraordinary thing. Thank you, everyone, for the well wishes for my trip. I have an itinerary that gives me a tentative idea of what exactly will happen as I leave for Australia to be with my family in Sydney in just a little bit. I want to let you know and remind you that there will not be a broadcast Thursday and Friday of this week, which feels very strange to say. There's only one day that I've missed in the last 6 years, one weekday, which was my grandmother's funeral. And so to know that these moments that we've missed have, for me, been defined by an obvious priority. And then I've been able to rejoin our community and receive the kind of care that we offer each other every single day. Thank you for being part of this loving community and for being so sweet in your support. Let me tell you what I'm hoping for the timing of broadcasts. Because of the 16-hour difference, it's very complicated to make a broadcast work on a daily basis from Australia based on New York time. Catherine, who's in Australia and part of our community, has been on almost every single day, but that's 1 o'clock in the morning for her, and her devotion and her being part of the community is extraordinary, and I'm not going to try to match it, especially the days after that will be probably defined by jet lag just as much as anything else. So because of the timing, I'm imagining that these are when I'm going to be broadcasting, and I'll post that on the UJA Facebook page, and I'll post it on my Instagram feed, so you can find it either of the places where we find ourselves, friends. Monday, 7 p.m., Tuesday, 7 p.m., Wednesday, 3 p.m. And then I'll miss Thursday's broadcast and be back Friday the 20th. So, anyway, I'll post all of that. But I am especially grateful to be able to share the timing and the continuity of our broadcast community, even during my time there, with Kim here. And so, friends, for those who don't know Kim Hartman, not only has she been a dear friend and a part of our learning community, um, committed to civil rights. We've traveled to the American South, to Birmingham together. She has been part of celebrating our learning community in Moments Public and also Just Daily. And when I mentioned to her my hope to be with my family after the attack on Bondi Beach, she and her husband Alan made this possible. And so, Kim, I thank you. Today's Torah is dedicated with real gratitude to your support. And thank you for being with me in so many ways, for leading our people, and for being present at Beit Nova and in our work in New York, and certainly in our hearts. So, Kim, thank you, thank you, thank you. Being able to kiss my family is such a gift. Thank you for this. Let me turn a little bit to Torah, because I've spent way too much time talking about my own travels. Parshat Mishpatim, the Torah portion that we're in, is a dense collection of laws. And when you read through it, it is a strange series of laws. They seem very eclectic in their gatherings. They don't seem to flow one to the next. Here's what you do in this case. Here's what you do in this case. It is an extraordinary thing to see, just after Revelation at Sinai, a list of laws. And if you think that the Israelites, our ancestors, were overwhelmed by God's showing up, God's descending onto a mountain, what Rabbi Jonathan Sacks of blessed memory calls God's entry into history. Here we are, just after that incredibly overwhelming experience, and now we have a list of laws that we are obligated to. And it's too much. It's too much, and it's strange. And it's also a little bit of emotional whiplash to go from this revelatory moment where you see the thunder, but you also see the sounds, says the Torah. How is it possible in the aftermath of all of this, literally the aftershock of Revelation, to then encounter a list of laws that we are obligated to? It feels incongruous. It feels overwhelming in a different way. And to say it in a different way, with the peak moments, the emotional and miraculous moments of the plagues, of the sea splitting, and of Revelation, three moments that define Jewish history and biblical topography. These miracles just happened, and here we are in Parshat Mishpatim, and it gets so boring. It's not that law is boring, but you can't compare a list of rules to seeing sounds and experiencing God and seeing the walls of water hold so that you can pass through. After hundreds of years of enslavement, there's no comparing even those most sublime of laws with direct miracles. And that's actually the lesson of this week. That life is not defined by constant miracles. And if the only time that we experience the divine is through these peak moments, which please God in a positive way, we should be blessed to have moments where you say, oh my God, because something is so amazing, where you're caught and riveted by the color of a flower. Where suddenly, speaking as a New Yorker right now, suddenly the temperature begins to get just 1 degree warmer, and you feel your body loosen up a little bit. Someone treats you with kindness, and you are overwhelmed. See, all of those are miracles too. They are mundane. And if it is true that the divine can be experienced not only when the sea splits, but when a flower blooms, or when someone shows someone else concern, how much more so when a community holds itself to a standard of justice? Because the one thing that connects all of the laws in Parshat Mishpatim is that they are laws for creating a society that is equitable and defined by justice. As Rosa just wrote, God is there in the quotidian too, in the very everyday. I'll tell you a beautiful teaching by my beloved teacher, Rabbi Eliezer Diamond, Zichrono Livracha. He just died a few months ago. And I'll never forget this. He wrote a reflection that was originally published in JTS magazine, the Jewish Theological Seminary magazine. And Rabbi Diamond was punctilious in his observance and fascinating in his understanding of law. He was in New York on a bus, Erev Shabbat, Friday afternoon, and he was on his way to Shabbos dinner, and his job was to bring the challah. Everyone was bringing something. Shabbos was coming. So he's on the bus just at the last minute that he is able to be on the bus and still keep Shabbat, because for him, he would not ride a bus on Shabbat. So he gets off of the bus, but he still has about 2 miles to go. And here's the issue. On Shabbat, one of the central rules is that you cannot carry something from property to property, from the public domain to the private domain, from the private domain to the public domain, or from one private domain to another, which is why in many communities we build something called an eruv. Basically, it's a legal fiction that creates one property of a shared space. There's beauty to this, that people who live nearby actually share a home that connects their homes. But Rabbi Diamond wasn't in a place that he felt had an eruv, so he can't carry the challah, he can't bring it to the dinner. So what does he do? The actual rule, and he writes about this in a beautiful essay called God is in the Details. He gets off the bus, and Shabbos has now begun. He wants his host, the meal that he's attending, to have the challah. So he knows the rule. The rule is you cannot walk more than 4 amot, 4 cubits, carrying something on Shabbat. So he walks a little bit less than 4 cubits, and he stops. And then he walks a little bit less than 4 cubits, and he stops. And then he walks a little bit less than 4 cubits, and he stops. And yes, to an outsider watching him, that was a very strange promenade. But to someone who understands the heart of spirituality, of mindful practice, of Shabbos, of finding God in the mundane, every step Rabbi Diamond walked was accompanied by God, an invitation to God to walk with him. How we walk through the world is actually the lesson of Mishpatim, of law. Law should be defined by encouraging the most human of our humanity, of making us sensitive that every step we take could be infused with divinity. Every decision we make, every vote we cast, every action we take, every encounter we have, every breath is full of the divine. Are we standing at Sinai? In that way, yes. But Sinai is present with us as we walk through the world with every effort to make a just society more real. Rabbi Diamond held a challah, but he was holding his people, he was holding God, he was holding time, and through that he was holding himself and everyone around him. That's the purpose of law, after all. We will, in a few weeks, get to the book of Leviticus, which is so defined by law. The narrative aspects of where we are now in the Torah shift to legalese, specifically around the priesthood and notions of purity. But as a biblical scholar I loved, Dr. Jacob Milgram once said, Leviticus is not a book of law, It's a book of love. Because after all, if we follow the Torah's notion of law, the world will be more beautiful and more fair. And isn't that what we mean by the word God? And so, friends, I want to bless you with the next action you take after the broadcast ends to think about how it could be inclusive, an invitation of the divine. And it doesn't have to be a big action. It could have been a very small action. But whatever it is, let it be holy. To find God in the mundane. To walk in a way that to an outsider might not be understandable, but to carry God within as you make your way gently through the world. To find God with every step. Friends, I'll miss you until I see you on Monday at 7 p.m. It's good to be with you. It's good to learn Torah together. It's good to walk through the world, arm in arm, heart in heart. Let's send our hearts to the east and sing. Kol hod baleva pnima nefesh Yehudi homia ulefate mizrach kadima ayin letzion tzofia on lo avda tikvateinu התקווה בת שנות 2000 להיות עם חופשי בארצנו ארץ ציון וירושלים להיות עם חופשי בארצנו ארץ ציון Virushalayim. Am Yisrael Chai. See you Monday at 7 p.m. Bye, everybody.